Hi, welcome to Erotic Storytime. My name is Cassandre Xavier. I also work, write, create, record audio and video under the names Amethyst Raw, Amrita Waterfalls, and Endowed Goddess. So I am something of a book whisperer. I attract books, I find them super cheap, free, people give them to me, and recently I came across not one, but two hardcover books by Anais Nin, the great writer and diarist um, and Renaissance woman. And she also wrote erotica. At some point in her life, she and other writer friends and lovers, including Henry Miller, wrote erotica. I believe they were living in Paris at the time, I'm not sure. Um, but two of her books, this is one, Little Birds by Erotica by Anais Nin. I read long ago when I worked at Borders Bookshop. And here's the other that I found, Delta of Venus by Anais Nin. So I remember one story that I read I thought was very erotic. Most of the stories that I read, and even now, going through these books now, I found both of those like for $1 each at a local library. I was like, are you kidding? So you could probably find it really cheap on Amazon, but then you're paying for shipping or whatever, and you have to wait. So it's just really great. And I knew those were for you. I knew I was supposed to read those. I was going to read something from those books into here. I personally am not interested in erotica in general unless I'm writing it. I haven't seen anything that's really my bag. And but because I'm not that into fiction and it's just not where I'm at right now. Um and you like I said, most of what I read does nothing for me. Dry panties, dry panty crotch. No tingling, no wetness, no engorgement of the erectile tissues therein. And but I knew that there was something in there that I knew that I was like, oh, I'm gonna be able to read some of this erotica to my peoples. And so I was hoping that I could find this story, which I had read years ago, which was about a model who it was about Anais. I don't know if it was fiction or not, um, but it was so hot. This was when I was working at a bookstore, and I was accessing lots and lots of books, and so I read. When I see the word erotica and I'm in my 20s, I'm interested. Actually, even as a teenager, I was interested, but anyway, even younger. And so basically, my goodness. And so the story is about, so she goes to pose and for this painter, and the way she poses, she's on a position where she's straddling something, and her legs are open, and he touches her to position her. And the way he does it is supposed to be kind of mechanical, but the way Anais wrote it or the way the story is, it's incredibly a turn on for me. So I thought it was really hot, and I perused through both of these books to see if I could find the story, and I was very, very happy that I did. So I'm going to read that story for you, and I guess I'll start now. Oh, okay, didn't know that was going to happen. So the book is here. Here we go. I'll put it off to the side. Finally, I was called to model at the studio of a South American painter. He had the face of a woman, pale with big black eyes, long black hair, and his gestures were languid and effete. That's interesting. His studio was beautiful, luxuriant rugs, large paintings of nude women, silk hangings, and there was incense burning. He said he had a very intricate pose to do. He was painting a big horse running away with a naked woman. He asked if I had ever ridden on horseback. I said that I had when I was younger. That is marvelous, he said, exactly what I want. Now I have made a contraption here which gives me the effect I need. It was a dummy of a horse without a head, just the body and legs, with a saddle. He said, take your clothes off first, then I will show you. I have difficulty with this part of the pose. The woman is throwing her body back because the horse is running wild, like this. He sat on the dummy horse to show me. By now, I no longer felt timid about posing nude. I took my clothes off and sat on the horse, throwing my body backwards, my arms flying, my legs clasping the horse's flanks so as not to fall. The painter approved. He moved away and looked at me. It's a hard pose, and I do not expect you to keep it very long. Just let me know when you get tired. He studied me from every side. Then he came up to me and said, when I made the drawing, this part of the body showed clearly, here, between the legs. He touched me lightly as if it were merely part of his work. I curved in my belly a little to throw the hips forward, and then he said, now it is fine. Hold it. He began to sketch. Okay. Um, the rest of it is not sexy to me, so I'll stop there. So what's sexy to me is that he had her hold this pose, that he touched her body, first of all, breaking this boundary, right? He touches her. She's naked. Her legs are spread. And she has to hold that pose. And he's looking at her with her legs spread. But it's under this guise of professionalism, and this is what painters do. So now if you keep reading the book throughout the story, it goes on and it goes on and goes on like that, where she visits him again, she works again, and he starts, little step by step, he starts to kind of groom her for this seduction. It starts with this, oh, this is mechanical, oh, I'm like a doctor, you're just a model, this is nothing to me, don't be embarrassed. At some point, they're having sex. So again, that is from the book Little Birds by Erotica. Erotica by Annie Eastman. So if you liked it, I'm glad. Um, I'm clenching a little bit because it's kind of hot. But yeah, so I hope you liked it. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thanks for tuning in.